welcome to Bearded Meeple. Now there's a couple of sayings, folks. Good things come in small packages, and don't judge a book by its cover. The same thing could be said for modern board games. Sometimes you'll get a giant box and you open it up and there's a tiny little game in there and you're like, what? Or you have a micro game and they just packed so much game in there, it's absolutely fantastic. Well, today we're going to take a look at a game for 2 to 6 players, or 1 if you use the solo variant, and it's for ages 8+, because there are 4 distinct styles of gameplay. It's a giant box, and they have a heck of a lot of game in there, and it's got a tiny little theme. It's brought to us by Sphere Games. It's BrilliAnts. Let's take a look at it. Bear in mind, this is just a prototype. Not final production quality, but you'll get an idea for everything that's in the game. And we're going to do an overview of it, and then we'll look at specific components. There are 4 versions of the game: for children, apprentices, the intermediate play, and for experienced players. We have the special cards, and we have your objectives. We have a double-sided player board. This side is for 2 and 3 players. The other side will be for 4, 5, and 6, and the solo play. Each player gets a personal player board and will hold all their ants. We have the species cards, and we have our resources. We also have a start player token that will get passed, and it will get flipped to show whether it's day or night. The special cards are used in the intermediate and experienced play. They're basically modifier cards. They'll give you additional points or alter the game experience. The main crux for points are the objective cards. We have hunters, farmers, and engineers. Each player has 5 of each type of ant, and they're all double-sided to show day and night. These ants will collect specific resources to fulfill the cards and get the points. A hunter will go after insects, a farmer, mushrooms and fruit, an engineer will harvest types of dirt in the nest. Depending on the number of players, game end is triggered by the fulfilling of a set number of objectives. The player with the most points will win. There are 3 types of actions in the game. At the beginning of a round, you will spin the pinwheel. That will give a specific type of ant an advantage for that round only. The actions include giving birth, moving an ant up to 3 tiles, and moving the predator. The thing is, on your turn, you will only do 1 action, and it can only be done once per round. Each player can choose the order they take their actions in. So on my first turn, if I wanted to move an ant 3 tiles, I do so. It's the next player's turn. They might move a predator. On my second turn, I might give birth to a new ant, and then my opponent goes again. So for my third action, I would have to move the predator, as that's the only thing I haven't done this round. As you can see, there are a range of objective cards and the points offered for hunters, farmers, and engineers. Whoever has the most of a type will receive a bonus at the end of the game as well. And while it's not all of them, each player can have a card offering a different species of ant, giving them a different ability to use in the game. There are a large number of special cards in the deck, more than are shown here. Their effects range from moving predators, gaining additional points, or additional cards, as well as other items. Not only will the number of players determine which side of the 2-player board you will use, it will also determine the surface area used. You will place tiles at your choosing to set the player area. You begin the game with 3 ants of your choosing and placing them at the top of the nest. You also take the objective card associated with each ant. But how do you get more ants into the game? That is with the birth action. From the main board, you will take one of the tiles. Each tile is associated with a different type of worker. The fourth one gives you your options. You place the tile over the queen, and from your supply, you will bring an ant into the game. At the end of the round, after each player has done all three of their actions, the selection tile will be returned to the main board. At this time, we're also going to talk about the headquarters, because as you collect your resources and fulfill objectives, you're going to need more to win the game. Ants can move up to 3 hexes on a turn, so for a movement, you could move an ant to the headquarters. That ant will take 2 cards that are associated with its type. You'll keep one and send the other back to the deck. So remember, a hunter ant will gather insects. A farmer ant will gather mushroom and fruit. An engineer will dig inside the nest and collect the rocks. These are used to pay for your objective cards. But there are rules for movement in the game. Hunters and farmers can walk over insects, fruits, and mushroom. You only pick up what you land on and if you're using the appropriate type of ant. As an engineer moves through the nest, it always has to be horizontal or vertical. It can never be diagonal, and they are not able to pass over a clump of dirt. If they come upon dirt, they must stop and take that type. So you're really going to have to strategize how you go through and collect the resources for those objective cards. From the main player board, your engineers will be able to build 4 entrances to your nest. As you place them on the main board, though, they always have to be in a legal place, and they have to be within 3 hexes of another entrance. As you take resources from the board, you will leave a pheromone tile marking your territory and taking the resource tile to your nest. On your player board, as you take dirt, you'll collect your resource tile and then place an empty nest tile to show that you've excavated that region. There are 3 predators in the game: the grasshopper, the spider, and the worm. The grasshopper can jump really high, so he can go anywhere on the main board. If he lands on a mushroom or a fruit, he'll consume it. You place a blank tile where he landed, so it can't be eaten again, and place the predator. A spider, they can move really fast, but they will eat insects. So if he lands on an insect, again, you cover it up so it can't be eaten again, and place the predator. The worms will move through the personal player boards. If they go on a spot that has dirt, you place one of the empty nest tiles to cover that dirt and place the predator. If you've used a predator on your turn, you will flip the predator tile showing that you've taken that action. And that, my friends, is BrilliAnts. A fantastic game. It's really solid. If you like Takenoko, you're definitely going to like this one because it has a similar feel, but at the same time, it's very different. It has great replayability because of all the different objectives you can go after, and those are going to be determined by how you bring your ants onto the main board or the player board. Taking your actions in different turns from your opponents will affect the game, and we also have the special cards that you can add, which leads me to my next point. There's so many varieties of play of things you can take out or add that it can be different almost every time you play it. I really enjoyed it. I hope you get a chance to check it out. I'll talk to you again soon.